from the Strait of Hormuz. The UK Maritime Trade Operations Centre say that 2 ships have been fired at by Iran, which of course further complicates the picture when it comes to the ceasefire and possible peace talks. Oil prices, for reference, basically at $100 a barrel again for Brent, up again today. Joining me now is the former NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen. Thank you so much for joining us. Lots to get to with you today, including some questions on space, which I know you want to talk about. But first of all, just on the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, how worried are you when you see that the proposed peace talks have been postponed?
I am very much concerned. It will have a serious impact on the world economy, and I foresee this conflict will be dragging out, and the consequences will be severe, not least when it comes to energy prices.
Clearly, at the same time, the ceasefire was extended by President Trump. It's not like we've seen an immediate return to heavy bombing by the US of Iran. How important is it that that holds? And what is your assessment of the likelihood of significant military hostilities picking up again, particularly in light of these breaking stories of Iranian vessels firing on commercial ships this morning?
I think both parties, both Iran and the US, have an interest in not resuming military attacks and activities. And that's exactly why I think this will be dragging out. It's not easy to achieve a diplomatic result in the near term. So I think the world is now confronted with a conflict that will be a very long conflict.
Clearly, nobody wants the Strait of Hormuz to be closed in the long term. Can you understand the US tactic to blockade it themselves in the short term?
Yeah, well, I understand the US reasoning, but I think time has come now to review the American and also the European strategy. Trump made a strategic mistake by launching this war without informing his allies. Europe made a strategic mistake by declaring that this war is not our war. But the fact is, we are all feeling the consequences, so we are in this together. I think Europe should stand up now and tell Trump in very clear terms, we will help you out of this mess, provided that you will stop imposing tariffs on your allies, and provided that you will stay engaged in Europe, in NATO, and you will continue to support Ukraine.
I mean, it's maybe an optimistic ask on the tariffs, but what can Europe immediately, in the short term, offer the US to help them out of this mess, realistically?
I think we have all a strong interest in ensuring free navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. That's an international obligation, and I think Europe should assist the Americans in enforcing such free navigation in the Strait of Hormuz.
So essentially you're saying that all of Europe's navies should partake in some kind of peacekeeping force and put military lives at risk in the region?
Well, it remains to be seen exactly how that should be executed. My point is just this. It's too easy to declare this war is not our war. It's too easy to say we will only engage when hostilities is over, because that may be down the road. It may take a long time. I think we need quick actions, and I would encourage the Europeans to take such quick actions. The fact is, Trump is now in a self-inflicted mess. And we should take the opportunity to help him out of this mess and use it as a leverage to restore more normal transatlantic relations. Time has come to stand up, to speak directly to Trump. The time for flattery is over.
I guess what you're already implying is that the US and Europe aren't close friends or allies to the extent in the past. Is NATO, as it was when you led it, over?
It's not over, but it has changed. And the fact that the American president has raised doubts about his commitment to NATO and his commitment to European defense makes it clear that we in Europe should do much more to defend ourselves. So our conclusion should be we need a new European security architecture built upon a coalition of the willing. And my argument would be that we need to include Ukraine in that coalition of the willing, because Ukraine today could be a valuable asset for a new European security architecture. Ukraine could and should serve as a bulwark against an aggressive Russia.
It's interesting timing for you as well to be announcing the report on the Global Space Council report launch, looking for global allegiance for the rules of space, particularly militarily going forward. Are you optimistic that can be achieved? I mean, it's not just talking about tensions within NATO; it would have to include countries like Russia and China too.
Well, the point in the report we are launching today is that we need rules that ensure equitable access to space. We cannot allow monopolization of space by private American actors that make Europe too weak and too dependent on the US. So we need a robust regulation to ensure equitable access to space. Furthermore, we need Europe to step up its production of satellites, and we also need more European launchers of satellites. Time has come to stand on our own feet. We have to reduce our dependence on the US when it comes to space.
But I guess on that, again, I use the same word, optimistic. I mean, we're quite dependent on the US for defense. When it comes to space, we're entirely dependent, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely. The US has 10 times as many satellites as Europe. So it's high time, but I appreciate very much that the EU has focused much more on space. And I would strongly favor security cooperation between the UK and the European Union when it comes also to space.
Anders, we're out of time, sadly, but it's been great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.